This is what you would see if it wasn't for the hard-working volunteers at Channel 10. But thanks to their great effort, this is what you get. Don't Judge a Book by its cover is partially sponsored by Laser Graphics, your one-stop for high-quality graphic design and production. Whether you're just starting a new business or need your existing business image updated, Laser Graphics does the job.
Hi, I'm Deb Thomas, Chief Librarian of the Nelson Municipal Library, and I'm here today to tell you about some new fiction that we've just gotten in. I'm going to introduce you to some new writers today. We have lots of new fiction from people like Margaret Atwood, Robertson Davies, Fay Weldon, Tom Clancy, and other well-known Canadian, American, and British authors. You don't need an incentive to read those books. You already know they'll be good. The books I'm telling you about today are not written by familiar names, but have all been favorably reviewed and promise the reader with some adventure in his or her soul, an interesting and inspiring literary experience. I'll start with a Canadian title, Dark Jewels, a novel by Rita Donovan. The theme is a timely one, given the recent tragedy at the Westbrae mine in Nova Scotia. Set in Cape Breton, the story revolves around coal miner Murdoch McFarland and his family. Central to McFarland's tale is his grief for his dead first wife and eldest son, and the memories repressed for so many years that are, like the dark jewels of coal, brought at last to the surface. This is Donovan's first novel, and reviewers in Books in Canada felt her style was already accomplished and rife with promise. Her particular skill is in the reflection of the economic and spiritual poverty of the mining community in which McFarland lives and of the deep insides of her characters. Born in Montreal and currently living in Ottawa, Donovan works as a teacher and editor. She now has recently published a second book. The next book is translated from the German. The Tango Player by Christopher Hein was called ingenious and provocative by the Times Literary Supplement. A poet, playwright, essayist, and novelist, Hein is one of the most important and respected writers in Germany today. He has won several awards for his work and has been translated into 17 languages. This novel takes place in Leipzig, East Germany in 1968, when political and social unrest reverberated through Western Europe. Dallo, a young history professor, is just being released after 21 months in prison for the crime of playing a tango with subversive lyrics for his students' cabaret performance. Dallo is ignorant of its subversiveness, but found that in East Germany, ignorance is no excuse. The corrupt system ruins lives with malicious caprice. In fact, to Dallo's bitter wonderment, this same tango is now allowed to be freely performed. Hein constructs a telling portrait of Leipzig in the 1960s and of a life casually tossed about by political tides. This tale is particularly relevant given the current upheaval in Germany as it struggles to reunite two very different Germanys. The next novel is written by American Kathleen Robinson. Dominic, a picaresque novel of ancient Rome, is Robinson's first novel. She says of the story that it is, quote, really about Dominic learning the nature of belonging, trust, betrayal, forgiveness, and the strength of love. Dominic is a dwarf, orphaned as a child and a Gaul by birth. He has been left to fend for himself in a declining Roman Empire. His travels take him from a circus troupe in a gypsy caravan to the dungeons of Lorac Keep, where he is befriended by the Danish singer Kevin Dunskelder. From then on, their fortunes are blended and their friendship grows. Robinson is a true storyteller. She manages in these 400 and some pages to transport the reader to another time and place, not as a mere observer of its chronicles, but as a citizen of its streets. In rich detail, she leads us through the winding side streets of Alexandria, past Constantinople's decadent festivals and circuses, to Rome's spectacular amphitheaters, its forums, and its licentious torchlit stages. Pagan, prisoner, acrobat, philosopher, friend, Dominic is at last a true hero who, with his friend Kevin, manages to live a life of humility and grace in a world of betrayal and lust. The very last book here is a collection of short stories by American Deborah Eisenberg. Under the 82nd Airborne is her second collection of stories. The first, Transactions in a Foreign Currency, won outstanding praise from the likes of Alice Munro and John Updike. Eisenberg, who lives in New York City, has also written a play, Pastoral, which was produced by Second Stage in New York in 1982. Eisenberg's special gift is a jeweler's eye for detail and nuance. Her characters are developed in each of these 7 stories to a depth more common in a novel. Each story places these characters in situations that test, expand, or subvert their sense of orientation, often requiring them to make disquieting discoveries about themselves. In The Robbery, a family's brittle suburban existence is cracked by an event which reveals the larger social forces threatening it from the outside. In Holy Week, a failed American journalist recounts a trip to a divided Central American city with an ingenious but inquiring young lover. In the Station, a hapless young American tourist is the unwitting catalyst of a crisis in the lives of people she hardly knows. Alice Munro describes Eisenberg's work as the kind of real writing that turns on a little light behind everything. Coming from Munro, a master of such writing herself, this is high praise indeed. Before I close, I want to remind you that the library will be closed from June 1st to June 26th so that we can move into our wonderful new library. We will reopen for regular business on Monday, June 29th in the new facility, 602 Stanley Street on the corner of Stanley and Victoria. At that time, we'll also be making a slight modification in our schedule of open hours. Our new hours will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 to 8, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 10 to 6. This will mean that we'll be open for lunch hours every open day. We'll not be having any more of these programs for the summer, but I'll see you again in September. See you in the new library. Bye for now.